Hi, I'm Neil Sanders, and welcome to my show, Talking Business. Today we are talking with two of my fellow classmates, Becca and Patrick, about their majors here at UNE and why they got into it and kind of what sparked their interest and how they got here. So you guys can introduce yourselves.
Hi guys, I'm Becca. I'm a sophomore dental hygiene major here at UNE.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm a primary education major and I'm a freshman here at UNE.
So one of the first questions I want to ask you guys getting into our conversation is what your major is here and why you chose it.
So I'm a dental hygiene major, as I said previously, and originally I came into UNE as a med bio major, and I've always known that I loved science my whole life. So I knew that I wanted to stay on a path science related. But after my first semester, I realized it just wasn't for me. The classes were just not lining up with what I wanted to in my future. So I changed to dental hygiene just because it was more of a specialized path. And I'm a very type A person. That's just how my personality is. I need to know what my outcome is and my path every step of the way. And I need it just lined up for me. So that's why I chose to do dental hygiene, because it's a very interesting, specialized path, and it's projected to have really rapid growth in the future.
Yeah, so as I said, I'm primary education major, which is a different major than secondary major. Primary is more younger age kids, as opposed to primary is high school, or secondary, which is high school. So the reason I kind of chose education was, one, because my mom kind of like showed me how much fun it can be, and also because I struggled a lot with reading and writing when I was young, like third grade age, and that's kind of the age range that I want to teach at. And I feel like I can really lead a helping hand to the kids who struggle with reading and writing, because I've been through that, and I know like what type of strategies work and stuff like that, rather than a teacher who doesn't totally know what they're going through and just kind of hoping that they can help them. And another piece that I was really interested in was the connection piece. I feel like I can make a lot of good connections, because when I was in high school and even younger, I made a lot of connections with my teachers, and I have a lot of outlets where I can talk to my teachers and see them more as friends as well, rather than just my educator.
I agree with that, Patrick. I had kind of the same thing going through school when I was younger, with the reading and writing aspect, and Becca in the way of needing to know like what you need to see the long run rather than just step by step in your process of what you're doing. What about some challenges and easy comings that you guys have had in your majors, like class-wise, maybe professor-wise, things that you didn't expect that you were going to get into when you decided on what you were going to study?
Yeah, so for me, I would say looking into the classes aspect and professors, I had a really difficult time in my anatomy, patho classes, chemistry. Those were the most difficult and challenging for me. Just because the workload is really, it can be overwhelming at times, and it's a lot to kind of balance with all the other classes that you have going on. But at the end of the day, I really just have to keep pushing myself, and I know I'll get through it. And for easy comings, I would say I really enjoy a lot of the professors I've had so far, and they're really helpful in kind of projecting my future and seeing what life will be like next year on the Portland campus for me.
Yeah, so much like Becca, I'd say the easy coming for me would be my professors, and how I can just drop into their office anytime and they'll help me. Like the other week, I had to drop in my professor's office, and I was having a really hard time staying organized, and so we sat down and she made a whole planner for me. And that's just kind of the type of professors you have in education, as opposed to some of the hard comings that I have. I'd say kind of just finding the balance of how to teach kids at many different levels all at once. Like in my field work right now, I have many kids, and they're all at different levels, and I have to find a way to balance that all with them. So yeah.
That's interesting. Thinking about your majors, what paths can they take you? I know some people might think of like dental hygiene. You can only really like clean people's teeth or do teeth cleanings, or a teacher. Like there's more than just teaching when you get into a profession like that. What kind of ideas do you guys have for after school and what you want to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So looking ahead after graduation, I plan to just start out as a dental hygienist in a pediatric office. And then I might possibly decide to go back to school and continue my education, maybe get a master's in education, because with dental hygiene you can teach in a clinical setting and be a professor, and that's something that I'm really interested in that aspect. You can also go into a lot of other fields in clinical work. You can work in public health, you can become a dentist, and also one thing that I was looking into is owning an independent practice. And you can do this in the state of Maine and Colorado without any dentist supervision. And so I'm kind of interested in that business aspect as well. So that's another path that I could potentially go down.
Yeah, so for me, there's not as many paths. It's kind of more of a straightforward. I can go the route of professor if I choose to go to more school, or I can just graduate from UNE and I'll be automatically qualified to teach in the state of Maine. Unlike any other state, I'd have to take a test, and I'd be qualified to teach any public school in any of those states. Another thing I've been interested in doing is also coaching while doing teaching on top of that, because as an athlete, I really enjoy sports, and I don't want to just let that go right when I graduate. I want to share that piece of loving a sport to other people like I do. So yeah.
Great topics. That's it for